All right, here we go.
Welcome
back to Beckles and Recher, the Jesus and Mero of sports radio.
They got it from us.
You like those guys?
They're.
I like Jesus and Mero. I've been
Yeah.
watching them for a while. I think they just came back, actually.
Yeah.
They've been gone for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a streaming guy?
I mean, watching streams
Yeah.
or. Man,
No?
You know me, man. I got my hands at so many different things.
You
brother,
watch so many live sports, though.
That's the thing.
You do a lot of
That's
live
the
sports.
thing. So I like when people are like, "Oh, you watch podcasts or you listen to podcasts," like, and if it's under 20 minutes, I'm not just saying this because you're here.
Yeah.
I watch In the Trenches.
Okay.
Every week.
Okay.
Also because I want to see if you mentioned me, but and you do every other episode.
Yeah, there you go.
No, but it's like what I want to do is I want to be able to compound on the things that you, because usually you do In the Trenches. I can't watch until after you join me on Mondays at 12:30. But I want to make sure that I piggyback off of things that you say on the show on In the Trenches in case we miss something.
Sure.
And we talk about it today during our podcast. So yeah, other than In the Trenches, like I watch a little soccer stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have to go seek that out. You don't see that everywhere. But
let me ask you a question, and I want everybody to listen to the answer closely. In a 7-day span, how many live sporting events do you think you watch in a 7-day span?
Does wrestling count?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Wrestling show or match? Show.
Yeah.
So I'm always watching Monday Night Raw, Fridays Night SmackDown. That's 2.
Yeah.
And then, a day, at least 3.
How many soccer games a week?
Like soccer on the week. Like the weekends on football season are great because I'll watch soccer all morning until noon. And then I'll watch soccer and college football. Sunday's the same way. So, I mean, this time of year in the fall, because hockey and basketball too, probably close to 30 games. 30
games a week. Okay. I'm probably getting close to 30 a year at this point. 30. I don't watch. Eliminating football. Eliminating football. I don't watch 30 other sports. I just don't do it anymore. I don't. No, we know. We're quite aware of that.
Last night I was watching. This is my night. I'm watching the Raise the Flags documentary. We'll talk about that. In a
I hope so. Yeah.
You know what else I watch almost every day? Jeopardy. Knowledge is power.
I used to.
Love
I
Jeopardy.
should get back to it.
And then I was watching some Oilers and Penguins.
Okay.
Because and you know what the thing is I watch random stuff, yes, but I always try to find the best game to watch at the time. So like there was like Clemson was playing South Carolina in basketball, so was Louisville was playing Clemson, and then or whatever. There was 2 college basketball games on. So I peeked at them a little bit. But you're watching Connor McDavid against Sidney Crosby.
Understandable.
And you're watching a game where both of the goalies just got traded for each other. Did you see that?
I did not.
Tristan Jarry just got traded from the Pittsburgh Penguins to the Edmonton Oilers. Stuart Skinner got traded from the Oilers to the Penguins. And they played each other 2 days later, and they're still wearing the helmets of the team that they played on.
That's hilarious.
So Tristan Jarry is playing for the Oilers with a Penguins helmet on, and Stuart Skinner's playing for the Penguins with an Oilers helmet on.
It's different.
Bro, that was freaking hilarious, man. Unbelievable.
Who got bragging rights?
I believe the Oilers won. Because I turned it off because then Knicks and Spurs last night, NBA Cup. Spurs. Tottenham Spurs, beautiful shirt that you got there. Beckles and Recher is the #1 source, and we appreciate everybody that's tuned into the stream right now. Questions, comments, concerns, put them there on the screen, and we will definitely get to it. Let's jump right into it. The Raise the Flags documentary has been fantastic. It has been unbelievable, and you were featured prominently. And I know we were kind of going back and forth. You're 4 episodes in, I'm 9 episodes in, but just being a part of that, I know was special to you, but we know how much makes the cutting room floor usually.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like to have your voice so prominently featured in that really is. That's everything about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It wasn't just the good times. Wasn't just the Super Bowl. It wasn't just on the field stuff.
Yeah.
And you haven't even seen it all yet, but what does that mean to know that they couldn't write the history of the Buccaneers without hearing your voice?
I think it's kind of cool.
It is, definitely.
Because when they asked me to do it way back when, and I said this too, I might have been the lesser of the talent of the people that were speaking, okay? What I'm saying that is...
Your football career.
My football career, like Martin Grammaticas and the Paul Grubers and the Brooks and Sapp.
Barber,
like, I'm the bottom of that totem pole. Now, you have to add in the sports radio part of it. I think that has part of it to do with it. But it's an honor to think that you have to write this and you have to add me as part of it. That really is an honor.
It is.
But to watch it, and it got me I was getting a little sensitive a little bit because I was watching a bunch of old stuff that I hadn't really remembered, seeing Abe Gibran and some of the old dudes like that. And then to see myself interviewed and like I saw Paul Gruber once and I see myself 4 or 5 times already.
Yeah.
So like this is a reality that I didn't know this was a fact back in the day. And I talked to Ira Kaufman, I've talked to some other people. Listen, I'm not saying that, I was nearly the player Paul Gruber was, but when it comes to after the game, Ira Kaufman said he came to me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Paul Gruber didn't have that much to say.
Doubt.
So it really was an honor. And that being said, I'm very particular with media and different things. I've been part of all of it. Fantastic. That was like 30 for 30. Like
to
better,
the 10th degree.
Better,
it is.
Better than that.
10
really,
episodes
really
of an
well.
hour long, man.
Really, really well done.
You really have to go into it and be able to watch it. If you haven't seen the Raise the Flags documentary on Amazon Prime, it's crazy, man. And it just gets better and better and better. And you just see the history of this team. Like, there's even things that you don't, like, I've been here 20 years now, and there's things about this team, and I'm like, I didn't realize the Bo Jackson situation was like that. I didn't realize the Steve Young situation
was like that. Did you know Doug Williams was like that? Did you know that his wife had died just before?
No,
I did not know
and I didn't know that.
But that timing was terrible.
And later on, I don't know if you knew this. Did you know that Hugh Culverhouse's son gave him money?
Gave who money?
Doug Williams money when he was at, I want to say, either Morehouse or Grambling.
Really?
Bro, he gave him the money 6 months before the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl.
Really?
So a lot of people think that like Hugh Culverhouse Jr. lifted the curse of Doug Williams because he did that. And I don't think that's the reason why he did that. And they didn't say that, but they were talking about the Doug Williams curse on the documentary, and then it was just like, wow, they brought Doug back, and they were like, yeah, Hugh Culverhouse Jr. Did that for him.
I never heard that one.
Crazy, right?
But there's things that I learned in the documentary, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that. I thought it was very enlightening. It was very well done.
It was, and it just shows you like what the impact was of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on this community. Levy brothers to help bring the team here. Hugh Culverhouse, what he was able to do. I mean, Rich McKay's on a lot of it, man. Rich McKay was around for a long freaking time with this team, and they kind of made him look bad because like they got rid of him because he didn't get along with Chucky, and then all of a sudden like he was with the Falcons like 2 weeks later. It was like, damn, bro, you were here for a long time. Your daddy was here, and all of a sudden, boom, before you know it, you're up in the owner's box with Arthur Blank. That was kind of wild. I knew that he was with the Atlanta Falcons. I just didn't know it was that fast back.
Well, I mean, I remember Rich McKay being in the locker room way back in the day, okay? So Rich McKay is part of the lore of the Buccaneers regardless. Rich McKay, it made me sick to my stomach, and that was the beginning, I believe the beginning where I start to look at maybe Gruden cross-eyed a little bit. Because Rich McKay, man, you gonna fire Rich McKay, man? Rich McKay built this thing.
Right.
I mean, he built this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for you to put yourself above him, and then after that, John Gruden put himself above many people after that.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. And you bring up Hugh Culverhouse, what he brought and what he did. There's what he brought, what he did. Here's another part. There's also what he didn't do.
Right.
He was not a good owner, bro. After fun watching it, like they tried to kind of put him in an okay light.
They did
in respect.
I think they did a good job of doing that.
I agree.
I think they did a good job of doing that because it's like
it could have been way uglier than that. It still wasn't pretty, though.
No, but they could have done that with Doug Martin. They could have done that with Josh Freeman. They could have done that with Daryl McCoy, and all for obviously different reasons. But I thought it was very classy in the way that they didn't just bury the shit out of everybody. I also didn't know about when Tony Dungy's son died. The relationship that Tony's son had with Malcolm Glazer, and then this will come up a little bit later on, and then like how Trent Dilfer went through a situation with his son, and then Trent Dilfer and Tony Dungy helped each other kind of get through it. And the crazy thing about it too is like later on, when the Buccaneers lost that Monday night game against the Indianapolis Colts, remember that big comeback? I was in college at the time, and I remember watching that entire game going, how the hell did that happen?
How did that happen? Yeah.
That was the beginning of the end of John Gruden with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, it was. You know, I interviewed. Were you there when we interviewed Tony that time? I don't know if it was me and Ron. I remember interviewing Tony Dungy, and I said to Tony, hey, Tony, remember that game here in Tampa Bay, with Indianapolis? He goes, back, it's funny. He goes, I was literally walking over to Peyton, telling him that I'm taking him out. and then they got an onside kick, and he just ran on the field. Like, I was going to take him out of the game. Like, we were ready to concede the game. And that literally turned things around for both teams.
Yeah.
That Buccaneers team was never the same after
They weren't. They said that
defensively, they've never been the same after that.
They said that the win over the San Diego Chargers was the beginning, and that game was the end. I thought that was so prophetic. That was so prophetic.
And when you watch to the point I'm at right now.
Because Allstock got hurt that game, too.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I'm at the fourth year or the fourth episode, okay? To this point, it's 85% defense. It's a lot of defense.
Let me ask you that, right? Does that have anything to do with why the people are frustrated right now? Because, and I'm talking the old heads, right?
Okay.
Because you're right. And I think if you talk about the history of the Buccaneers, the offense has been shooting stars. It's been Doug Williams. It's been Vinny Testaverde. It's been Josh Freeman. It's been Brad Johnson. It's been Jeff Garcia. It's been Tom Brady. It's been Baker Mayfield. It's these just shots across the bow where it's not necessarily long-term success, right? But the underbelly and the foundation of the Buccaneers has been Leroy Selman, Julie Selman, Richard Batman Wood taking it over, Mark Cotney going over to Sapp and Brooks and Lynch and Barber and Hardy and all those guys, right? Even to the teams that even the team that won in 2020, right? As much as Brady and them in the offensively, I mean, you watch and you'll see it in episode 7 or 8. I mean, it was Levante going one-on-one with Travis Kelce the whole game. Yeah. It was the havoc that Vita Vea did when he came back from breaking his ankle with Ndamukong Suh. It was JPP and Shaq, and it was like, I don't see that shit now. I think that's part of the, not the reason why they're not struggling, but I feel like that's one of the things that maybe irks Bucs fans a little bit of, like, we're supposed to be a defensive team. This is what we've hung our hats on for the last 60 years or 50 years, and it's just so bad right now.
Well, it's bad, and when you look back to the way this Buccaneer team has been built in the past, those names that you brought up Vinny Testaverde, Brad Johnson, Brady, you brought up some other names, Josh Freeman. First of all, Doug Williams, at the end of it, isn't a Buccaneer. He won a Super Bowl with another team. Tom Brady isn't a Buccaneer. Not even close, okay? Vinny Testaverde didn't have success here.
Steve Young.
Okay, Steve Young didn't have success here. So when you talk about the Ring of Honor and stuff, the offensive names, watch me, didn't deserve to get in like the defensive names.
Right.
The offensive names were flashes, like you said. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, if he was a defensive player, he ain't getting in. It's true.
Right.
But we had defensive, like, guys are the best at the positions maybe ever defensively, and we had a bunch of them. And some teams they go a long time without seeing that, okay? And we got a chance to see numerous at the same time. We've been blessed.
David Terry's chiming in. DT's a big Liverpool fan. Look, Ian's got a Tottenham shirt on.
Yeah.
DT wants to know, what's Beck's proudest moment as a Bucs player?
Proudest moment as a Bucs player?
Yeah.
Proudest moment would be just getting drafted, I would say. Proudest moment on the field, that Philadelphia game when I got that block on Romanowski at the end of the game, it was just the way it unfolded.
Right.
Like Sam White came on the field, he can decide, like, who has a play? And I said, look, call tag. We ever run it all day. So everybody's like focused on me, and I just declate Romanowski, and it was the end of the game. So, as linemen, you don't get a chance to be that guy very often. So that was kind of cool.
What was it like to be able to, and we talk about watching yourself on the Raise the Flags documentary as seeing yourself as a media personality, as a person that was talking. What was it like to see some of your clips of you playing? Yeah,
it's funny. There wasn't that many.
No,
there wasn't that many. There's 3 or 4.
2 of them were good.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of them. They don't excite me anymore.
No, it excites me.
No, I want it to be a good. I want it to be a good clip. I don't want it to be a bad clip. Don't get me wrong.
No, but I think, like, honestly, like, if you're a kid like myself that grew up a diehard sports fan, like, you wanted to be a pro athlete, man. I pictured myself scoring the goal in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final for the Rangers, or hitting the home run for the Yankees, or catching the touchdown from Phil Simms. Like, that was what you got to live out a dream of billions of people. Like, do you ever just sit back and think about, like, holy shit, man, like, I got to do something that so many people would give their freaking left arm to be able to do. And then when you see something like that, you're like, wow, that you existed. That was you.
Yeah. As I get older, it changes. While I was doing it, it wasn't a thing. Right. Okay. I've told you the story of, the moment being too big in the Dallas game. Right. That happens. But as when I first got out of football, say I'm 40 years old and I'm watching it, and you still kind of feel like you can play. You still kind of feel like you're strong and invincible. Now I'm 58 years old, and somebody throws me a football. I might not reach my arm up to try to catch it, okay, because I don't want to hurt my shoulder. Now that I'm watching it and I'm assessing what I did, it looks so hard now. Okay, right. I know how hard it is to do that, right? So it's as I get older, it's becoming a bigger feat as I get older. Because when you're young, you're like, it's not that big of a deal. I ran here, but it's what we had to do to get there and stay. Tony Mayberry, that's my people. We pretty much grew up together. We sit here, we give our old war stories, and sometimes we tell stories like, how the hell did we get through that? Right. And that's the difference. There's so many examples of people have enough ability to play, but there's something that's unmeasurable to stay, okay? Because when your finger's bent the wrong way, nobody cares. Yeah. When your ankle's 40%, nobody cares. I mean, there's a lot of things that nobody care about except for your film on Monday. So, if you have thin skin,
you ain't gonna last.
It ain't gonna work for you. No, it ain't gonna work for you.
And I think it's important too that you take. I was having this conversation with our pal Greg Wolf the other day, and I spoke about this with Forrest Lasso, who just retired from the Tampa Bay Rowdies after an incredible career. And, sometimes I think when guys are too humble and they're too you kind of downplay what you did, but I don't think you should. I don't think you should brag about it, right? But exactly. I also think that it's a harmful thing to shortchange yourself because you negate the impact that you have. Because if you're my favorite player and you're like, my career wasn't that big of a deal, then it's like, shit, man. I care more about the guy's career than you know what I mean? So I think that there's fine balance where you have to notice and appreciate your worth too. And I think you have done a great job of doing that. And it was just really cool to be able to see a guy I consider a friend on there. And, one thing to have the dignitary shirt on, but actually see you because I've researched a lot. Like I've watched a lot of the stuff from the past. To be able to see clips that I have never even seen, I thought was awesome. But I just feel like this is a great thing for the Buccaneers as a whole. And it was ugly at points. And you want to talk about teams that were up and down. Like, when it crashes, it usually crashes pretty freaking hard. Yeah. And then it takes this, big swoop back up to be able to try to climb that trek to the top. I don't know if anybody has ever had the type of journey in 50 years in professional sports quite like the Buccaneers. I mean, you're talking about a team that didn't win a game for a season, almost 2 full seasons, and now they have 2 Super Bowl victories. That's pretty wild to think that.
And you think about it, usually when a team is that bad, and the Buccaneers were bad, okay, because the Seahawks came in at the same time, and the Seahawks have been substantially more successful. Usually when you're that bad, there's nothing in between, okay? So the Bucs, if you took away those 2 Super Bowl years, there's very little positive for the Buccaneers. But you can't do that because there's other teams that are taking away those other Super Bowl years. Okay, that's what they have. Just like right now, you're hearing Giants fans complain. Nobody really wants to hear.
Nobody wants to hear that.
No, really, because the Giants win every decade. They get one championship.
We'll find a way
around. Okay, so nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear the Bucs complain either.
No.
Okay, because the Bucs have been through some stuff, and the Bucs have had a lot of success. And when you talk about Buccaneers now, if you're a young person, the Buccaneers are not the Yucks. If you're a 50-something-year-old person, you've been through a roller coaster, and unfortunately, that roller coaster was not going up most of it. Most of it was coming down, and coming down, pretty darn steep. And, my era was plummeting.
Shout out to Louis FPP on YouTube. Was at Dignitary Cafe for the first time when I was visiting Tampa, and I must say it was awesome. Definitely returning back in March. Nice, Louis. That's good stuff.
Louis FPP?
FPP, yeah.
Well, he don't got no name. Louis FPP?
At Louis FPP. Okay. Make sure you say hi to somebody, Louis. Let him know that you're here at the Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard, the best kava and kratom in town. All right, let's go to now. Baker, Bulls, and their future with the Buccaneers. I always say, Ian Beckles says, would you bet your house on it? I would say no, but crazier things have happened, Beck. I just keep going back to that. If it's been ugly the last couple of weeks, no, I wouldn't put my house on it. But if the Bucs won 2 out of 3, and again, I'm not talking about what the future, what that means if they make the playoffs and whether they're going to have a long postseason run. I'm just talking about making the postseason because that's your first goal every single year. Make the playoffs. Will they make it? I don't think so, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did because football's like that. Like you say, it's a week-to-week league, and I'm excited to see because looks like Tyke's going to be back, Servassier is going to be back, Cade Otton's going to be back. JPP could be in there. You have all your receivers, all your running backs. Pretty much, this is as healthy as you're going to be all year. I know you lost Zion, you lost Cody Mauch, you lost Kalijah Kancey, but this is probably as healthy as you're going to be all year. If you want to change the narrative of what your season is, it's on you. Yeah. Right? I mean, and it'll be interesting because I feel like in sports, you don't always get to see what people are made of. You're going to get a chance to see what Bowles, Baker, and this team are made of over the last 3 weeks. And if they crumble, we're not going to be surprised. If they win, they're going to have to make some serious changes.
I hate to even answer that question right now because 9 weeks ago would have been different. 6 weeks ago would have been different. 3 weeks ago would have been different. 3 weeks from now will probably be different because we don't know what's going on, right? So there's no way you could have watched this team in the first 6 games and think that it would have done what it did in the next 6 weeks or so. That could happen again, all right?
Right.
It could happen again.
That's why I ask you. If I would have told you before the season, 7-7, you need to win 2 of your last 3, 2 of them are at home, would you take it?
Well, once again, I'd have to ask you, how does that look?
Right. That's why the context is the key, right? The context is the key.
It could look a lot of different ways.
But I think just standard.
Yeah.
Just asking without context. Yeah. I think people would sign up for that.
Without, yes.
Right? Without context.
Once they dug deep, they go, I don't
know. How did I get there?
That's not exactly what we bought into.
Right.
But, you know.
Excuse me, they're at Miami next week, so.
Okay.
My bad.
Now, looking at this team and the future of this team, if they lose the next 3 games and look the way they've looked the last few weeks, I think after watching Raise the Flag, all right, it's got a little of that feel to it. If they don't make the playoffs, I don't think he has a chance, okay?
What does it feel like right now?
It feels like the end of Dungy, but at the end when they lost those games and they won a couple to make it to the playoffs and then they got knocked out, either way, it's going to be like that.
It feels like that.
It's going to feel like that, okay? Because even if they mess around, win 2 out of 3, and they lose in the first round, people are going to go, what are we doing? What are we doing? Every year we're 8-9.
Our wheels,
every year we're doing
Jeff
the same
Fisher
thing,
syndrome.
You know?
But at least at that time, you had a dominant defense. This is why I understand what you're saying, but here's the difference. Is that one, you had a dominant defense, you had a defensive-minded head coach, and then your offense wasn't up to snuff. Now, your defense isn't doing the job, and you have a defensive-minded head coach, and your offense is okay, but not as firing on all cylinders as it was in years past. So what kind of guy would you go to? Because I know it's not so easy. Defensive guy, go to an offensive guy. That's what the Bucs did, and that's what the Glazers said they did. We needed an offensive guy. They didn't want to go to another defensive. So they were like, all right, Mariucci, no, we're going to John Gruden. The next guy has to be what? Offensive guy?
But that's what they do. Everybody does that all the time.
But I think that's where it might switch now. They're saying going forward because everybody's been, I want the next McVay, I want the next McDaniel, I want the next Shanahan. But like the number one guy, I think, on a lot of people's boards is Chris Shula, ironically enough. That's the defensive coordinator of the Rams. Yeah. So, you know how it is. It's cyclical, right?
Yeah.
If you're the Bucs, do you go after an offensive coach or do you just go after the best head coach?
I think you have to go with the best head coach, okay? Because even watching, Raise the Flag, they didn't expect Tony Dungy to be that guy, and he ended up being that guy.
For somebody else.
It seems like when people make these decisions, they always go opposite of what they had, okay?
But I don't know if that's always the smartest move.
I didn't say it was, but I'm just saying that's normally what they think the fans want.
Right.
So when you go from Barack Obama, you know what? You know who Barack Obama is in Bizarro World? Donald Trump. All right.
Whoa.
If you go from Tony Dungy, you know who Tony Dungy is in Bizarro World?
John
Gruden. Right? Okay. You go from quiet, calm, cerebral to ballistic out of my mind. So I think they're going to want, like, he's an older defensive, calm guy. They're going to want some young, spark-pluggy young kid yelling and stuff, but doesn't always equate to wins, unfortunately.
No doubt about it. What about Baker Mayfield?
What's his contract? He just signed an extension, didn't he? I mean, they were talking about giving him another extension. I don't think that happens. If he plays the next 3 games the way he's played in the last 6 games, then we go into next year as Baker as our
He's still the starter.
Yeah, he's still the starter. But, I mean, Baker's our starter next year in first game, period.
UFA after 27.
Yeah, he's our starter next year, period. Now we have to start, early in the season, we weren't talking about Baker.
How does that change, though, next year?
It changes because
I'm talking about constructing your roster for next year.
It doesn't.
No, I'm saying for a quarterback, you have to draft a young quarterback. You have to get a veteran quarterback.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. I think you do. And that doesn't work out most of the time. It really doesn't. When you're a team that's supposedly supposed to compete and you're still thinking about the future, you still can't use a high pick on a backup quarterback. You still got to bring in
Kyle Trask.
Right?
You see what happened?
Well, so what happened? If they did that again, if they drafted again, where does Kyle Trask? He doesn't get drafted.
Probably doesn't get drafted.
He doesn't get drafted. So that's a bad pick. So if you're ready to win right now, you could bring in Kyle Trask and have him sit there for 6 years and do 0, or bring me a rush end or an offensive lineman.
I just think, I do find it kind of weird that we've gotten to a point with the Buccaneers where Jason Light is so heavy on holding on to these draft picks. Because when you watch the Raise the Flags documentary, you see so many people that were brought in, and they weren't brought in through the draft, right? And I'm not saying to mortgage and say F them picks, but you look about it. You look and you see, oh, wow, look, who is that? Oh, yeah, I see. You brought in Brad Johnson. Yeah. You brought in Keyshawn Johnson. You traded for John Gruden.
Yeah.
First, second-round picks, $8 million. You went out and signed a guy like Simeon Rice. And then, your 2020 team where you brought in Brady and Gronk and Fournette and AB and Dominican Sue and JPP. None of those guys you drafted. So the fact that Jason Light has been so draft, I think that part, that's part of the problem. Because you're not building the team using all of your resources. And even if you do make good draft picks and good players, you need great players if you're going to win the Super Bowl, not just good ones.
But if you go back to the years that they won, they brought in people, but the nucleus of the team was drafted by the team.
Right.
That's how it always happens that way.
Would you say the nucleus is here?
Right now?
In the beginning of the season, would you say the nucleus was here? You probably would.
Yes.
Because you'd say Vita's here, Winfield's here, right? I got Tristan, I got Baker, even though you didn't draft him, but the nucleus is here.
Yes.
So why didn't you, now that we look back on it, why didn't you say, hey, man, you know what? Because think about it like this. What if the Bucs really did go out and get Max Crosby? What if they did get a Micah Parsons and he made a difference? And that guy was we could be having a different conversation about the Buccaneers right now. And I hope that Jason Light adjusts. He's already adjusted. I hope he adjusts again and tries to understand that building this roster, of course, the foundation has to come from the draft, but you got to utilize everything. And it is a little puzzling because, with Tom, it was like, well, we're going to bring all these guys in. You found a way to get all around that dead cap money and stay competitive and get a Baker Mayfield. You've already done it.
Yeah.
Why not do it again?
The thing is, when they brought Reddick in, they thought he was going to be a difference. That didn't work. Now, when you talk about, a Micah Parsons or a Crosby didn't move. Okay, so that wasn't even a possibility. Micah Parsons left. They gave away quite a bit. And there's only one team that could get him, though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's one of those times it's got to be you.
Sure, but everybody can say
only one team got Simeon Rice, too.
At one time, everybody can say, boy, our team would be better with Micah Parsons. Everybody can say that.
Sometimes when you have an opportunity to go get a guy back, you got to go get a guy.
But it's hard to say if it's worth it, though. Okay, because
how do you know? How do you know unless you do it? You didn't know Simeon Rice was going to be worth it, did you? But he told the Glazers.
Right now, is Micah Parsons worth it?
I think he was.
But you won't know because
but you have to take the chance. You can't sit on the sidelines.
But he may not ever play another good game for Green Bay.
As a fan, would you rather you want your team to be like, hey, I'm going to cross our fingers that Yaya Diaby's going to be a 10-sack guy? I'd rather trade for a guy that's a known commodity And if it doesn't get there, at least my team went for it.
Yeah.
At least we tried.
But that sounds good until it comes up the time where you used to have draft picks there, and now you have nothing.
Well, but you just said before.
But now you stink, though, and now you ain't got no draft picks.
You have to take a chance.
But that's how you lose your job. That's how you lose your job. That's the problem.
Yeah, but Beck, you could lose your job doing it this way, too.
I understand that.
I'd rather go out guns blazing.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people.
What did the Rams do?
A lot of people went out guns blazing, but they blazed quick, though.
What did the Rams do? They traded all those picks. They won a Super Bowl, and now they're one of the best teams in the NFL.
But they also pick up Puka Nacua. They also pick up Cooper Kupp-type cats.
They drafted those guys.
That's what I'm saying, though.
I'm saying that there's a pattern.
It's not luck, though.
No, but I'm not saying you need luck. You need the right people drafting. You need the
right decisions made. That's what you need.
But if the Buccaneers feel like with all of these draft picks that they want to try to hit on as many as possible, shouldn't you trust yourself enough that if you had less, that you think that you would be able to get the value from them? That's my whole rationale. All right, well, if I have 7, we do such a good job that at least 5 or 6 of them will be starters this year. Okay. Well, why don't you trade a couple, and then you say, all right, I'll take 4 of them and know that these 4 will make it.
You know what there's very few of? There's very few successful teams out there that have more than 1 or 2 rookies starting.
But the Bucs are one of those teams. That's why, Beck.
But
But
maybe,
if they were the Giants,
maybe I should tell you why they didn't continue to win. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the other teams, they'll make those trades. The Eagles will make a trade. The Eagles will trade a pick here. They'll do this. And they still draft well. Teams like the Giants, you look at their draft class from 2-3 years ago, and you're like, holy shit, are any of these guys still in the NFL? Right?
But
the Buccaneers
but you're picking out eras, though, because there's times we could have said that about the Giants and then dogged out the Eagles. It's just at this moment.
Of course.
At this moment, yeah.
I'm not saying historically this is what the Bucs should do. Okay. I'm saying right now, if you're telling me that you have a great draft record, your resume right now drafting is good. I understand that. So trade some of those picks, understanding that you'll make the most out of those 4 and fortify your roster. So, I mean,
but not knowing at the trade deadline or beforehand what it took to get a Crosby or Micah Parsons, it's hard to just say, just go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know if they were asking.
Right.
We don't even know if they even want to come here. There's a lot. It's gotta all work out.
It does, but I feel like you want to see that happen, though. You want to see.
It sure feels like we didn't try hard enough.
Thank you.
And it just looks bad.
Speaking of trying hard enough, your boy Tua in Miami, it looks like his time is done. He's getting sat. Quinn Ewers is going to be the starter for the Dolphins. Quinn Ewers,
Texas,
starting quarterback for Texas last year over Arch Manning. So in 2 weeks down in Miami, the Buccaneers could be seeing Quinn Ewers.
That's a good thing.
Is Tua done?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about my money? At the beginning of the year, I bet the over in the Buccaneers number, and I believe it was 9.5. So they have to win all 3 of those games.
Right.
And I picked the under in the Dolphins number.
Oh, boy.
And I believe they have to lose all 3 of these games.
Oh, my God.
So that's a good thing. The fact that they took Tua out to me, like Chris was like, maybe that's a bad thing. I go, no. Tua can light you up for 400. Who was this other guy? Ewers guy?
Quinn Ewers.
That ain't happening. He ain't throwing 400 anytime soon. So go Dolphins.
So is Tua's time done?
No, he'll be an NFL quarterback still. He'll be an NFL quarterback. Absolutely, he's better.
Starter?
Yeah, I think he will. Or he'll get a chance to start. He'll get a chance to start. Absolutely.
I don't know,
right now, if you tell me if I rather Tua or boy Jackson Dart from the Giants,
I'll take a rookie.
I understand that, but that once again,
what would the Giants
Jackson
do?
Dart plays 3 more bad games, then all of a sudden you got to fall back to a guy like Tua who can play a little bit. You
already got Jameis, baby.
You know Tua can play a little bit. You know that.
Wait till you see Jameis in the documentary. It's hilarious.
I know it is.
He's the best.
I know it is.
Tua guaranteed $54 million in 2026.
$54 million. Good for you.
How are you going to move that?
Good for you. You're not moving it. It's not going anywhere.
And what hurts him is what happened with Atlanta with Kirk Cousins. Because everybody's like, oh, yeah, Kirk Cousins will find a home. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He just sat there, and then Michael Penix Jr. got hurt. So even if Tua doesn't start, would you trade for Tua?
No.
So how's he going to start for another team, like you just said?
I said there's a chance. I think there's a chance he competes with the team.
I don't think there's a chance.
Who would you rather?
There can't be.
Tua or Kyler Murray?
No, but that's my point.
Tua or Kyler Murray?
Definitely Tua.
Well, then Kyler Murray's not out of the league, is he?
Yeah,
so then Tua's not out of the league.
But Tua's got $54 million.
Well,
no,
but
the reason it's about phrasing. It's about phrasing. What I'm saying is that if you trade for Tua, he's not competing because you're going to be on the hook for $4 million. So he's not competing.
We didn't bring up money. You just said you think Tua's going to start. You didn't say, is he going to start at $54 million? Those are two different things.
All right, okay. So now I'm saying that part.
Like Russell Wilson, is he going to start ever again? If you asked me 4 years ago, I'd go, yeah, but not at that number.
Not at that number,
You know what I mean?
So, yeah. At $54 million, are they going to move him? No way.
Nah, they're just going to cut him out right, and they're just going to have to eat it.
Oh, that's a lot of money to eat.
How does McDaniel stay though?
They won 4 games in a row. They got rid of the GM. They traded all the players.
They won 4 games in a row with Tua. So what are you going to keep this cat in there for?
Well, that's why they're saying it was the GM, and he did all these. Tyreek Hill gets hurt. They trade Jalen Phillips, and then they win 4 in a row.
So who wants?
They like the fight.
Who wants to play?
No, I get it.
Who wants to play for a coach who just had your quarterback and your GM fired, and you sitting there all puffing your weed pipes? I ain't mad at
your vape pants.
I ain't mad at that.
I'm surprised he hasn't been here.
Who?
Mike McDaniel?
You don't know he hasn't?
Yeah, you're probably right. He ain't no glass now, that's for sure. All right, I wanted to ask you this question, too. The Giants look like they could get the number 1 pick.
San Francisco Giants?
No, dumbass.
Okay.
The New York Giants.
All right.
If you were the Giants, would you draft Mendoza and trade Jackson Dart?
Where did Jackson Dart get drafted? Like where? What time?
Late, because they traded back in to get him. Yeah.
Late first?
To get him, yeah.
Okay, here's how it goes, okay? If you're a GM's still there from last year? He's still there from last year?
For now.
Okay.
Joe Shane.
So if
25th overall pick. They traded back in to get him.
Here's how it goes, okay? Joe Shane is his name?
Joe Shane. I don't know if he's going to still be there.
We'll just...
give me a scenario if he is and if he's not.
Okay, if he's there, okay? If I'm the owner, and you come up to me and you go, hey, owner, what I want to do is,
owner,
I want to get rid of the guy that I just spent a bunch of money on last year that we helped develop and bring in this other young kid. I'd be like, you're fired. Get out of my office. You're fired. If it's a new guy, I mean, it's easy to just move on, but it's not easy to move on. It's not. There's still money involved in it. There's still equity involved in it. You put all this time this year in trying to develop this kid. Why? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing right now? Why are you even developing if you think you're going to go next year and get Mendoza? Not saying they shouldn't do it, but it doesn't say much about the direction of their, organization. You
know what I would do?
What would you do?
I would do that.
We do what? Get Mendoza? I'm not saying it's a wrong move.
That's
after but you better evaluate Mendoza.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Mendoza better be the man, though. You better be the man. Are you, baby?
But here's the thing, Beck. I watched Jackson Dart in college, and I watched him with Ole Miss. And I watched during times in games where he did the opposite of Mendoza. Like, Ole Miss was a talented team, and I watched Jackson Dart just melt into a puddle in Gainesville against the Gators, where he just threw 2 picks at the end of the game where it was like, all right, dude, you weren't really pressured, and it just fell apart, it seems. Where when I see Mendoza, I see a guy that sometimes plays his best at the end of the game. And if you're making an assumption on whether a guy's going to be able to take it to the next level, I'd rather a guy that's going to show me at the end of the games that's when he's going to play his best ball, rather than a guy that looks like more of a front runner. And taking into account, Jackson Dart, again on Sunday, for the 5th time this year, has been evaluated for a concussion. So you're telling me that this guy, do guys get healthier as they get older? You ask me that all the time. It's something that's going to hang around this guy's head for the rest of his career. If I had the opportunity, I would trade Jackson Dart and I would take Mendoza.
Here's my thing, all right?
Because you're starting over anyway. Because you're saying about like starting over.
Yeah.
You're starting over anyway because you're getting a new head coach. And listen, it wasn't Joe Shane's decision to draft Jackson Dart. It was Brian Daboll's decision. And that wasn't speculation. That's exactly what we saw. So Joe Shane could be like, I think it's easier for them to do what I'm saying here if they have a new general manager. But if Joe Shane goes, you guys know I didn't really want him anyway. We were trying to give Brian Daboll an opportunity. Mr. Mara, this is what we're going to do. And I saw, it's funny, John Mara, he was actually at the Malcolm Glazer funeral, which I thought was pretty cool too, in the Raise the Flags documentary. But if you know that Mendoza's the guy and you feel like he's going to be the guy for the next 10, 15, 20 years and everybody's on board, I mean, we saw the Cardinals do it. Remember the Cardinals did it? Yeah. They had Josh Rosen. They drafted him higher than Jackson Dart. Cliff Kingsbury came in, said, oh, that's great, unbelievable. I'm drafting Kyler Murray. And yeah, okay, it didn't work, but at the time, it made a lot of sense. And look at what Cliff Kingsbury did with Jaden Daniels last year. So there is a precedent of this happening. I wouldn't be opposed to it if the Giants, if they are believers of Mendoza.
I am not opposed to anything, but people love to start, and you just started it, and I'm not knocking you, but
I'm starting it.
People do it all the time. I watch them play in college. Stop. You can stop right there. Doesn't matter whatever you say after that won't matter. It really doesn't, okay? Because somebody will say, so-and-so is starting their first NFL game. I watched them in college. Doesn't matter. Whatever you say doesn't matter after that. Whatever they were in college doesn't matter.
What are you supposed to use then?
But then you can't use anything. That's why it's.
Why did you get drafted in the 5th round?
Because
you were just a nice guy.
No, it's all the intangibles.
You don't think if you blocked for your guy in Indiana, so that stuff matters at least a little bit.
Once again, I'm talking about leading to success. What you did in college, once you step into the locker room, it is a blank slate.
Right. I don't disagree with that.
No, that's facts, okay?
No, I don't disagree, but you're talking about if a guy's going to project, how we use the what information do you have to make a decision going forward whether that guy's going to be good or not? The only thing you have is previous stuff on tape. You understand that there's a completely different level, and it doesn't mean that it's automatic. But there are certain things you see. Beck, you give me a guy.
Not for quarterback.
But you said Russell Wilson years ago.
Once again, though, Russell Wilson stinks now.
Okay, but he won a Super Bowl.
Once again, Russell Wilson, if he got drafted for the Buccaneers in the 90s, would he have been good?
But you picked him out. You told me this.
I understand that.
So what made you see? So what did you see in college?
What I'm saying is I'm not right. I lucked out. He found himself.
And you tell me this all the time. Every draft pick's luck.
There's an that.
Be careful because you're going to argue against yourself.
Watch me, okay? Watch me. Jonathan Ogden, on luck.
Okay.
Why? Quarterbacks are luck. You know why? Because he don't need nobody.
Okay.
Quarterback needs a great offensive line, running game, offensive coordinator, defense. What is a 6'7", 330-pound guy with 7-foot long arms need? Nothing.
So the quarterback position, I agree with you, is the hardest. It's the hardest
in
right?
all of sports.
The hardest
times 10.
But if you see things, all right, can the opposite be true then?
About what?
If you see a guy struggle in big-time situations, is he going to be able to flip the script?
We don't know. That's the thing. Well,
but it's way harder to do that.
What would make anybody think that Tom Brady would do that? What did he show? He didn't even start some games.
No, but at the end of his career, and people don't know this, at the end of his career, he won some big games down the stretch.
But he still got drafted way late.
But he played well at Michigan down the stretch.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't like he played like shit. We don't see quarterbacks play like shit in the college and then go in the pros and ball out.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Who?
Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson backed up Casey Weldon.
At Florida State.
Yeah.
So you know one guy.
Oh, I mean, there's lots. Patrick Mahomes wasn't that good in college.
He was the first-round pick.
Understandable, but
Texas
he wasn't.
Tech, he threw for 500 yards in one game.
He wasn't.
Yeah, but he was a good. He got drafted in the first round.
So somebody will say, "What did Patrick Mahomes do in college to make you think that he was going to be that?" And the answer is nothing.
He got drafted in the first round.
Okay, I understand that, Jay, but I'm just saying there's nothing that you can see in college. There's no 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't line them up, especially a quarterback, to make you think that guy is going to be a success, especially quarterback.
I don't think it's. I think there's a percentage of what you see.
Mendoza could be Justin Herbert.
Right.
Now, if he is Justin Herbert, here's my question. Do you draft him first?
Yeah.
I know.
I would.
Here's the problem.
I would.
Justin Herbert on a bad football team loses.
Yeah, no doubt.
Justin Herbert, if he makes it to the 25th pick and gets picked by the Ravens or the Steelers.
We've talked about this a lot. Yes. The quarterback has a lot to do with where you're at.
It has everything to do with where you land.
No doubt about it.
Everything.
But I feel like there's certain things that you can see in a quarterback where you'd say, if it translates to the pros.
It doesn't.
But, like, let me give you an example. Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
If you're watching Deshaun Watson like I was in the college football national championship game at Raymond James Stadium, and you're looking at Minkah Fitzpatrick, and you're looking at all these guys in that Alabama defense that are going to play on Sundays, and for the second straight year, you do to them what nobody else in the country has been able to do. I'm not saying it's automatically going to translate to success in the NFL, but wouldn't you think that he would have more success or have a higher chance of more success than anybody else?
Didn't Tim Tebow do it? Tim Tebow did it against some Alabama teams that were stuck.
But his was different. He wasn't standing back there and slinging it.
Once again, it's
right?
just,
Tebow was running.
But then you have to keep on adding.
Of course. But that's the only way it's going to work. Because I agree with you. It's the hardest position to do.
At the end of it, we're going to have to say, we don't know.
But how do you get it down? How do you limit it down? That's my point. It's easy to say, all right, we can't tell. And I understand that. Mm-hmm. But how can you then? What are some of the traits that you see?
You can't.
I don't know.
You can't. There's nothing that is going to make you think that Michael Vick is going to be Michael Vick.
Not 100%.
And Anthony Richardson is going to be Anthony Richardson. You see what I'm saying? Like, they both have
but
so
he was
many
never
intangibles.
He was never an accurate quarterback.
I understand.
I think every quarterback's different, so we could go back and forth the whole time.
What you just said there, Jay,
yes,
is the answer.
Right.
Every quarterback's different.
Right.
How different? How different is Michael Vick speed-wise than this guy? How much more of a freak is Michael Vick?
But isn't that the secret, like the secret sauce? Like if we could figure that out.
Once again, secret.
That's the
secret sauce.
But we got to figure it out.
No, we ain't figuring nothing out.
I think we get.
There's been people trying to figure it out for years.
But they're not Ian Beckles.
If Ian Beckles did figure it out, nobody would listen to me.
You know what's going to happen?
Nobody would listen to me.
7 years from now, Ian's going to figure it out at 2:00 in the morning. He's gonna call me. I figured it out. This is what it is. All chiefed up. This is what I did. All right. Lastly, let's talk about the Knicks. They won the NBA Cup last night over the Spurs.
The who?
The San Antonio Spurs.
The Knicks?
The Knicks.
You talking about basketball?
NBA Cup. NBA Cup. What do you think about in-season tournaments?
What do I think about them?
Yes.
Just new to them. When I watched basketball, which wasn't yesterday, they didn't have any of these cups and irrelevant people celebrations in the middle.
Irrelevant.
Well, this is what this is. This is a participation trophy.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The games count.
Yes, it is.
The games count.
It's a participation trophy.
You wish. You're just busting my balls.
You're during the era of participation trophies.
Nah, this is not a participation trophy. They won. They were the last team standing. And the games count.
Your generation participation trophy.
You can't even say it.
Participation bitches. Participation bitches.
Would you be opposed if the NFL had a in-season
Leave it alone.
If the NFL...
Leave it alone.
Listen.
Stop changing it.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Stop changing the NFL.
If the NFL had 20-game season and in the middle having a in-season tournament. I think hockey should do it, and I think baseball should do it too.
How many... Okay. You just going to keep adding games?
You're not adding games.
20 games and then an in-season tournament and then playoffs?
No. The tournament, that's the thing, is for the NBA Cup, you're not adding any games. All the games count as regular season games. So they count towards your regular season record. So you're not adding any more games.
Yeah, you're just getting participation trophies. Nothing.
For nothing? You won.
For nothing. Who cares?
Knicks beat the Magic. I care. Knicks beat the Spurs.
This is like when the Rays put up their banner.
No, it's not the same. This is the same thing. Wild card banner. So, you know how much each Knicks player got for winning last night? $530,000.
Well, that makes it relevant.
That is what we're participating
for. You can keep a trophy, but 530.
I've never. It was so funny last night watching the guys at the end of the bench.
Yeah.
And they bro, when the clock ran out, those guys ran on the court and they're like, oh, shit. Bro, those veteran minimum guys that are making $700,000.
What?
$800,000, they're making $530 last night. Tyler Kolek, who played his ass off, makes $2 million a year. He made a quarter of that money just last night alone.
I have a buddy of mine that played for the Bills back in the day when they went to the Super Bowl, and he made probably $50,000. This was way back when. And then they give you 26 Super Bowl tickets. And he says you walked out the building and the guys just had oodles of cash. They're just giving him
26 tickets.
2,000 a pop. So they make $50,000 a year playing football, and they made $52,000 selling their tickets. If I got $2,000 a ticket, family members, you ain't going.
No way.
You ain't going.
Hell no.
You have a television? Here's $200. Go to Best Buy, get your television.
Y'all got a TV?
But you ain't going, though.
Y'all got a TV?
No, you ain't going.
It's been fun, man, doing the podcast with you this year. Every Wednesday.
Is the last one?
Last one for this year.
Okay.
Going to New York on. What are you doing for the holidays?
I'm about the on the non-festive. I just don't really plan stuff.
He's not a planner.
It's just the same day, same old days.
Same old for him.
I do a lot of working and do a lot of radio.
Are you?
A lot on the bone. I'm a lot.
Really? What times?
I mean a lot.
What times?
I know next Monday, Tuesday, I'm on morning and afternoon.
Wow.
And then the next week, I believe the same. So.
Wow. Who are you on with?
I'm on with Johnny B in the mornings, and I'm on with Dizzy in the afternoon.
Wow, nice,
man. Yeah. So it's fun, man.
That's great.
Gonna wet my beak a little bit.
There you go, buddy. If they're hiring, let me know. They're not. Ian Beckles Show. Follow him on Instagram, YouTube as well. Are you doing the stream today?
No stream today.
Football.
Hopefully we're getting it back out.
Got to get it back
next
soon.
Week.
At Recher. Follow me on all social media platforms as well. Like and subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate everybody for rocking with us. Ian joins me every Monday at 12:30. And, we do our Beckles and Recher podcast every Wednesday. We have the top 20 sports stars of Tampa Bay coming up on Friday. So that should be
Nigel
fun.
Kerwin.
Nigel Kerwin's the number one in Ian's list every year.
Every year.
Lightning video coach. He's
Nigel
been there
Kerwin.
for 30 freaking years. He's the best. He's the best. We appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Everybody have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas. Peace out, motherfuckers.
Yeah, man.
Chris. Tottenham. Man's got an England shirt on. Turn around. Ah.